Last night, Treasurer Scott Morrison delivered the most significant reforms to superannuation in a decade. While listening to the Treasurer speak, at points it sounded like a horror show. But with the opportunity to reflect this morning, I think there's some good news mixed in with the bad. The changes to superannuation include a $1.6 million limit on the amount that can be transferred into the tax-free retirement phase. This means that any amounts above 1.6 million will need to remain in accumulation and will continue to have the 15% tax applied to earnings. In addition to this, there's a $500,000 lifetime limit per member on the amount of after-tax contributions that can be made into the system. This includes contributions that were made all the way back to 2007, although if you have contributed more than $500,000 during that time frame, any amounts made before budget night last night won't in themselves make you in excess of the cap. Amounts contributed above the $500,000 lifetime limit going forward will need to be refunded out of superannuation. And finally, as widely anticipated, there's been a reduction to the amount of pre-tax contributions that can be made to super to $25,000 per annum per person regardless of age. Summarising the changes like that, it's hard to see where the good news lies. But there's a few things that are important to note. Firstly, the majority of these changes take effect from the 1st of July 2017. So it gives us more than 12 months to work through how to maximise your position based on these new rules. Secondly, it will reinforce how important asset allocation is when thinking about wealth planning, but superannuation in particular. For example, Australian shares paying high rates of dividends and have franking credits attached will be very valuable to hold in superannuation to ameliorate some of these new taxes. The next is that there's encouragement for additional contributions both early on in the working life and also after age 65, where until last night's budget you weren't able to make contributions unless you were working at a certain level. We believe that there is a very strong motivation to continue to use superannuation, and while it's arguable that confidence is eroded any time you make additional changes to the regulatory framework, it is important that we look at superannuation as a key plank of wealth creation. We'll be in touch in the next few days to talk about how these changes impact on you, and also some of the other budget measures like the reduction to the company tax rate and their fiscal stimulus given the RBA's decision yesterday to reduce the cash rate to 1.75%, in a demonstration that they continue to be concerned about the strength of the Australian economy and their willingness to move to very low interest rate settings to stimulate where possible. We look forward to talking to you soon.